This is my second time speaking at this event. I did so last year for the first time, and I regretted that the year before that I had traveled. So on this second occasion, let me say what a joy it is to be part of what has now become the hallmark of good cooperatives in this community. The International Cooperatives Day is celebrated around the world on the first Saturday in July. It so happens that on this occasion, the 7th of July, today, Saturday, also is the signal date for the revival of this particular facility. And so because those two things have come together, we today celebrate not only International Cooperatives Day, but the 8th anniversary of the reopening of this important facility. I started there because I want to tell the people of Sandy Point, I'm from Keyon. Yes, I'm from Keyon. And the people over in Keyon wish they had a market where they could sell food. God, they'd come to me every day. Minister, where can we get somewhere to sell food? So you in Sandy Point, who have revived this facility, you have an important head start. You are what we call the town of Sandy Point. And because it is the town of Sandy Point, you must come and support the institutions in your town. This institution brings together persons who grow food locally and who sell them here. And so everyone in Sandy Point should feel a sense of patriotism, a sense of responsibility, not to go Bastia to shop in the market in Bastia, but first come to Sandy Point. So for those of you who are not here today and you're listening to me on the radio or television, let me tell you, you have a market in Sandy Point, come and support your own marketplace. Support those young men and women who have come together to revive this important facility. The International Cooperatives Day, as I said before, is celebrated on the first Saturday in every year around the world. And the International Cooperative Society has framed some remarks, as I understand it, that they would like me to share with you. And so I begin by saying that on the 7th July 2018, cooperatives around the world will celebrate today. Through the slogan, Sustainable Societies, through cooperation, we will show how, thanks to our values, principles and governance structures, cooperatives have sustainability and resilience at their core. They also have concern for the community as the seventh of their guiding principles. The International Cooperative Alliance is encouraging its members to use the hashtag capital COOPS, capital DAY, and the Cooperatives Guide to spread the word. We represent, I'm speaking on behalf of the President of the International Cooperative Alliance, represent 1.2 billion cooperative members. There is no other economic, social, or political movement in the world that is less than 200 years has probably grown as much as we have. But growing is not the most important thing. We consume, produce, and use the resources that the planet gives us, but in solidarity with the environment and with our communities. That is why we are a key partner for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, says the President of the International Cooperative Alliance. Sustainable societies are ones that reflect the environmental, social, and economic limits to growth. By their very nature, cooperatives play a triple role. One, as economic actors, they create opportunities for jobs, livelihoods, and income generation. Two, as people-centered enterprises with social goals, they contribute to social equity and justice. Three, the democratic institutions, as democratic institutions, they are controlled by their members, playing a leading role in the society and in the local communities. While a recent report by PwC showed that 2 in 5 firms are still either ignoring or having no meaningful engagement with SDGs, cooperatives, on the other hand, continue to lead the way. Cooperatives have a unique contribution to make to delivering all the Sustainable Development Goals and the associated targets. Cooperative demands input from members. Members must put in to get out. This means members must help the cooperatives to make goods and services available for their benefit. As we look closer home at our activities to protect the environment by our cooperatives, there are some positive areas. And I did earlier speak about the Sandy Point Agricultural Corp. This is a really very active corp that you have seen continue to grow local food and to market them here in Sandy Point. They, to me, are a great example of what the Ministry of Agriculture desires: people engaged in farming. They represent, I will say, what the best in Sandy Point is: the people who produce. Those people who produce are those persons who feed us. Those people who produce are those persons who continue to employ people. You know, there are about 97% of the people who are just ordinary, and the other 3 who are extraordinary. I put these guys in the category of extraordinary. And then, of course, we have another active farm in Old Road, the Gideon Force Agricultural Cooperative Society, for example. Those of you who have heard about Gideon Force, you know that these are guys who do not use chemicals on their farm. They produce natural food, produce just as the soil is, they produce those food. There is no room, they allow no room for the implementation of any chemicals or of any pesticides, of any such implements that could contaminate our food. And so I also wanted to give them a round of applause as well. The theme in itself encourages sustainability over profiteering. It says sustainability over profiteering. And cooperatives by nature are not for profit, but serve the members, and the cooperatives promote social responsibility and suppress greed. One of those 7 vices, greed, they suppress it. Recently, our beekeepers cooperatives was given access to land for the planting of trees to enhance forage for the bees, pollination of flowers by bees, guaranteed fertilization of seeds to sustain the viability of plants. This is another noble way to enhance the environment, improve and sustain honey production as well. The deliberate planting of fruit trees by some of our agro-processors help to ensure availability of raw materials, processing of fruit wines, juices, jams, jellies, chips, and hot sauce, just to name a few. So there are a number of cooperatives, a number of activities in which persons are engaged in cooperatives, producing food for local consumption and even for export. And so I want to commend, again, SPACs, I hope I'm calling it right, Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperatives, for leading the way and reactivating the Sandy Point public market, which was done some 8 years ago, which, of course, as I said, on this day, coincidentally, is the same day that the International Cooperative Society celebrate their International Day. Clearly, to me, the actions of our local cooperatives, of the Sandy Point SPACs, and all the others, are very much in line with the theme, sustainable consumption and production of goods and services. Before I take my seat, I want to, as the Minister of Agriculture, indicate that we are fighting a culture that has seeped upon us of people buying things from abroad because they think things from abroad better than what they had. And things at yard are always better than those abroad, you know. But we're fighting that culture, truthfully. If you go to the supermarkets, you see people in there buying the kind of things that we plant right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. They prefer to go in the supermarket and buy some fruit that comes from abroad that we produce here as well. Don't know whether that fruit was sprayed with whatever chemicals, but they buy that anyway. And when they buy foods like that, those that are in the cans with all kind of preservatives, when we buy food like that, they contribute to our bodies getting sick. You may not believe me, but listen, this little body here of ours is a unique machine. Believe me, it is a unique machine made up of cells. Cells want two things: oxygen, clean, good air, and nutrients, what we get from food. Not contamination of pesticides and other things. Because when you contaminate, you do damage to the cells. So when we continue to buy what comes from abroad, which are shut up in cans and preservatives, we continue to do damage to these cells. And when you damage your cells, you end up getting some other kind of sickness. It's either your kidneys doing something bad, or your liver doing something else, or high blood pressure or something else, because you're contaminated. So the more you can produce locally, even in your backyard, right to the back of your yard, the more you can produce locally and consume, the better you are for a longer, healthier life. And so I want to encourage the people of St. Kitts who are not here today and who may be listening, that it is important that you patronize your local producers, those who are producing food free of chemicals. Those foods contribute to you having a healthier and longer life. And so, once again, as I close, I want to do two things. One, again, congratulate the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperatives for their diligence, for being among the extraordinary. And I also want to congratulate the cooperatives, the Department of Cooperatives of the government, for engaging so many cooperatives around the country, delivering goods and services that our people need. And I want to also congratulate all of them for this week of celebration, which was a really impactful week.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.